Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about Gnostic spirituality, which involves the spiritual fighting, the healing, and so much more. One of the main interests that I have is to use my work in order to show people how you apply Gnostic spirituality to day-to-day life on different layers and on different segments of society and activity, be it that you're a normal person, be it that you're a leader. And actually I do my PhD thesis on the latest one, the leaders, and I'm trying to describe how you use Gnostic spirituality in order to become a proper leader and so on. But I'm not getting into that right now. In this video, God has guided me to talk about God says about the purpose, the purpose of your spiritual work. And I say your spiritual work, not mine, because we all should have spiritual work. The reason why you incarnated and you came in 3D is to do spiritual work and spiritual fighting in order to dismantle 3D, yeah, which is a deception. So I will say what is the purpose of everybody that should be doing spiritual work, yeah. I think it's a little bit pretentious, the term. This is why I'm so hesitant, particularly since God told me about the topic just a few minutes ago. So he took me by surprise a little bit. So I will just touch a little bit on this topic because it's too broad and I have too little time in a video to talk about it. So I will say that there's common knowledge by now, I imagine, that everybody knows that everybody, all spiritual beings are divided in different groups according to different criteria. And the purpose is one of the criteria. What is your purpose in 3D? The purpose many times is related, not many times, always actually, is related to your race. You come, I spoke about this in another video, that you have different type of lineages that you are associated with. Some of them are soul lineage to you, and these are those who are connected by soul to the same tribe. Others are just lineage to you. You are in the same lineage with them because of the connections that you have established in different incarnations, and it's not always your personal choice. Sometimes it's just an alliance between different races in order to achieve a certain good deed for the humankind on earth. It's not always your choice. Sometimes it's just a broader, higher perspective, and you're part of it. But you must become aware, so you will understand your own purpose and path. As I said, many times, most times, your purpose is definitely connected to your race, which determines also what gifts you have. Each race has secret knowledge, which can be shared only within the same kind of race. So you need to understand from which race you are coming, because depending on that, you will understand what's the secret knowledge that you must learn while you're here, and you must activate the gifts related to that, because all of this leads you to certain purpose, certain things, goals that you must achieve in your incarnation, and nobody is able to tell you this. I know that many people have this habit of going to different readers, to different oracles and so on. It's a waste of time, because many times nobody other than those from your race know this secret knowledge, and you are not able to share that with anybody outside of your race. And the realm will not share with you the secret knowledge until they test you properly to make sure that you're mature enough and you're loyal enough not to share that with those that shouldn't know it. So this is really important. And I tell you this, many people I've seen in my own spiritual fighting and work, people who waited to be saved, you know. And one of them particularly, who was same lineage with me, he kept waiting to be saved. And in spite of being helped a lot, he kept waiting for the salvation to take place, like he was not supposed to do anything. And I was shown by God, and I told this individual, listen, you're supposed to save the world, man. There's secret knowledge which only you can discover, and based on that, you're gonna save yourself and the whole humankind. You need to just wake up and move your ass, because you shouldn't be waiting for somebody to come rescue you. You're supposed to be the one to rescue others. Anyhow, but he went through multiple cycles of enslavement and being trapped in different sort of wrong practices. So he still has way to go to do his work. Okay, so I will talk about, I chose to talk about way showers. Yeah, since we're talking about the purpose, I chose one example to talk about way showers, which are the blue ray. And I think this is already common knowledge. Everybody knows about those who incarnate as blue ray and way showers. They are placed in certain situational cycles, karmic cycles, and in certain families which, for example, have very long-standing generational curses which never succeeded to be broken or nullified. In those situational cycles, karmic cycles, there are many people involved, multiple people involved. For some individuals, they deal with such big groups that you have huge crowds basically in the same situation which they have to solve, and they are the way shower for the others. This is what the way shower means. They are the way shower for all the other people that are involved in that situation. Namely, they show the way. It's very simple. It's way shower. That means they show the way. Yeah. Now I want to specify one thing because I relate to this. I'm also Blu-ray. So I chose to talk about this because I know it from personal experience. This is why. I want to specify, there is no, you have no responsibility to rescue anyone as a way shower. Actually, nobody has the responsibility to rescue anyone. You do aim to help others and show others the path for them to achieve soul evolution. That means growth. This in itself empowers others because the power lays with your soul level, yeah? And if you succeed to help them to do soul evolution, that means soul growth, that means overall growth, and that means growth of your power, that means empowerment, yeah? Because I've seen and I've dealt with many individuals who succeed more or less with your help maybe to overcome the lower chakras programming and attacks, but then they get stuck because on soul level there's so much programming and so much hurt and so much trauma bonding that they cannot move forward, yeah? And then if they don't move forward, that's the problem. If they don't move forward, then they fall back into the same kind of addictions, the same kind of programming with lower chakras attacks and so on. Yeah, so that's I've seen many people going back and forth, taking one step forward and then 10 steps back. So yeah, it's unpleasant, and I'm pretty sure it's very difficult for them as well. So you do aim as a way shower. It is your purpose to show the way, but you can show by personal example. It doesn't necessarily mean that you must go to each individual and show them personally. You know, the way showers are usually teachers in spiritual realm because they show and they teach others how to do things. But sometimes all the people that are supposed to be following you and learn from you are already programmed and already in alliances with others, determined to do harm to you, to kill you, to enslave you, to, So then it's very difficult to teach them. It's very difficult, believe me, to teach those who actually decided to be against you when they were supposed to be following you. So then you can teach by example always. That's another thing that's important. That's why I emphasize there is no rescue. You do not. Your purpose is not to rescue. Surely that at the end of the day, that's what you aim at, to help others to get rescued. But being rescued, it's a very broad term, and it involves soul evolution, but it involves also a lot of knowledge which they must be willing to learn and to apply, both in spiritual fighting but also in healing, in self-healing. If they are not willing to do the work, you cannot do anything for them. And I say again, even if you help them, I gave this example in one of my prophetic writings, and I explained that there was another individual from my soul lineage who was doing a lot of harm to me, and he was summoning all sorts of dark forces. And I was really frustrated. I was like, I helped him so much. Why is he doing this still? And God showed me basically that this particular situation that I was facing at that particular time was created through a generational curse or through a bondage on him. Yeah. So he didn't consciously make the decision, but it was casted upon him. Yeah. So then I claimed justice for him, because we are from the same lineage. So you can, if somebody is from the same lineage, you can claim justice for that individual. And then God was able to make justice for him and to cut that. So you can show the way this way as well, from a distance. You don't need to get involved in that. You don't need to retaliate necessarily to him. I didn't retaliate to him. I was like, if I retaliate, we get into a fight now. Then I'm gonna lose all the points that I helped him gain. And it was important because he was supposed to wake up and find out that knowledge, which was supposed to bring a lot of salvation to the entire humankind, So I was like, I don't understand what to do now, because I can narrow it down in a fight one-on-one, and then I take him out. But then, on the other hand, on a higher perspective, I know that his purpose is very important. So I don't want to take him out, because he's supposed to save so many, So it was a predicament. Anyhow, that's another way in which you can show the way to the individual, because you help him understand, look, I claim justice for you. Look, what was the outcome? You received your royal rights back, which they took from you when they made you a wizard to cast darkness on people and stuff like this. Yeah, you were the royal. They were working for you, and they made you into this wizard to work for them as they pretend to be royals. So you wake up from this, because this is not, So this is another way to show the way. There are many ways in which you can show the way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you must go and teach that person. Doesn't even necessarily mean that you must go talk to this person. You can show the way in many ways. Yeah. Because they are the other people placed in the situational cycle that you deal with are usually karmics. I haven't seen yet a situation when in a situational karmic cycle there are more than one way shower. Yeah, usually God chooses one which has to lead the way, and then the others most probably are karmics, which means on soul level they're very young, which means the young souls sometimes look like children, like toddler children, like pets. Do you know if you have pets, how you need to teach a very young pet not to pee in the house, not to do this, not to do that, sort of like that. Yeah. They have no higher perspective, they have no maturity, no understanding, and no willingness to understand. They only have instinctive reactions, and the instinct reactions for them come from a wounded place. Yeah, because that's why they're young souls, because they were wounded on soul level at a young age, so they didn't evolve. They are stuck in a certain type of reaction, only one type of reaction, and that is usually connected to what broke them, to what bondage was created on them. Many of them are petty. There are some individuals which God has shown to me, very petty individuals, which are very young souls, and they literally behave like 5 years old children. And I said, I don't understand who harmed this individual, why? Just because they carry envy. Usually these are the worst individuals, because this is the envy is an entity on soul level, and it's really painful. And if they don't get rid of it, then they can even kill you. Anyhow, some are hurt by others, some are hurt on purpose, trauma bonded, some have been tricked to fall into a bondage and so on. But the problem is that once they fall, once they fell, a lot of programming was added onto them. And at the point when they're brought to you, they're already a lot of trouble to deal with them. Some inherited bad karma from the family, like generational curses and stuff, which is pulling them down. It's very complicated. Some only carry an embodiment which has been carried previously by others, which have done a lot of harm. And I've seen in my recent spiritual fighting, I've seen spirits which go back into autist mode. So literally autist spirits which have absolutely no, how to say this, no emotion and no ability to process intellectually, to understand things. They're literally just like, I wouldn't say like animals, because I respect animals. They're just like this very dangerous being, because they have no capacity to think and to process and to react. So you cannot engage logically with them. And these are the spirits which are being used to block you. Anyhow, I'm gonna make another video on autist spirits. But this is talking about the purpose. This is, I showed you the one example for the way showers. So you have you have multiple purposes in your presence here, but this is one which is related again to your race and to the secret knowledge associated with your race and the gifts associated with your race. And it's decided before you incarnate. You discover it throughout your life. For example, I for a long time I didn't know about this, the way showers and the Blu-ray and stuff. And I'll give you an example. And I used to do, for like my initial phase of my career, I used to do public diplomacy and event management, yeah. And I was creating projects, and I was extremely successful. I was very much appreciated for this. And at some point, while I was developing a project, I remember that I established a staff meeting, and I said, you get together at this time, you talk among yourselves, and then I come at this time, and then we start this the official meeting. But I need you to coordinate among yourselves, so I don't waste hours and hours in a staff meeting in which left didn't speak with right, X individual didn't speak with Y individual. And I need you to speak to each other, coordinate, and when I come, you already exchanged information and everybody is aware and knowledgeable, so we can actually have efficiency. And when I came, I entered the room, and I remember there was a girl. We were mostly we were on the same age, yeah. And I remember that when I entered the room, she was next to me, yeah. So she said, "Oh, okay, Dana came. Now everything changes." And I didn't pay attention to her. But then when the staff meeting was over, I asked her, I spoke to her at some point, and I thought about it, and I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, always when you come into a project, you change everything. You change everything. So then I didn't react in any way to what she said, and I thought about it, and then I started observing myself, and I realized she was right. I didn't notice that about myself before, but I realized that was right. And indeed, when I was approaching, even with my boss, and he was telling me, we need to do this project, then I would say, okay, I'll make a concept for you and I'll present it to you. And because most of the times, if I would tell him what I want to do, he would say, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And if I would present it in writing, then he will get the chance to read it to the end. Usually he would like it very much, and sometimes he would even say that it was his idea, although it was not. In the concept, I would put everything which he didn't agree with me during the discussion, So we would discuss first. He would say, no, I don't agree with it. And I said, okay, I will make a concept for you. And when you see the overall picture, you tell me what you want me to take out and what you want me to leave in, yeah? And I would put everything that he disagreed with, and then he would see my point. But in the direct discussion, he wouldn't see my point. But looking further, I understood that, yes, many times when I would approach a project, I would say, no, this is not good, we change this, but this can be done differently, we can do it this way, we can do this. And many times I would have discussions with my boss, and so he would say, I give you this budget. And I said, no, you don't give me budget. First, I give you my project. Then you come with a budget to to what I envisage. You don't give me a budget to restrain me. First, I give you my vision, and then you come with a bondage, with a budget to match my vision, not to restrain my vision. What do you mean? So I realized that indeed, but I was not making it. I realized then I was doing it. I was never doing it consciously, and I was never doing it in order to change. I didn't have an obsession with changing things or being my way. I was just seeing very clearly that was not the best that we could. We could do better if we would do things differently, And anyhow, I did this always, always. And I got to the point when I would tell my boss in some important projects, I would tell you, if you don't like it the way I want to do this project, then I don't do the project. You can give it to somebody else. I'm not mad. You can take it, give it to somebody else, but I'm telling you, if you don't do this, the project is gonna fail. If you don't I understand you have other considerations. You can make the decision, but you cannot force me to work on a project in which I do not believe. And I'm telling you, this is the only way I see this project coming through. If you wanna make a difference and if you wanna actually succeed. It never happened to me to take a project from me, actually. He always would agree in the end. I would probably sometimes accept some changes that he would make, but very seldom and very little changes. But the point is that I realized only when I learned about the Blu-ray and all of this, I said, okay, this is why I was doing that. I didn't know. So I'm telling this only for all the others Blu-rays out there. If you feel like everybody's looking hateful at you because you change things, because you come with proposals, because you come with ideas, and they are just lazy and they don't want to do work, so they hate you because you bring work to the table, just know that it's your purpose. So ignore them. Just know that this is your purpose. Your purpose is to show the better way, to show the best way forward. This is why you're doing it. Even if you don't consciously know, but it's in your blood and it's in your divine guidance, which you receive, even if you're not consciously aware of it. Usually people call it instinct or call it intuition or whatever. That is also divine guidance. Anyhow, okay, so I'm gonna stop here because it's 25 minutes. God asked me to talk about the purpose. I spoke about the way showers because it's easier for me. I relate to that because I'm one of them. And as I explained, for everybody, your purpose is and especially for the way showers, is to first of all, to focus on your evolution, of course, and to assist as much as possible others with their soul evolution. Now, in order for you to evolve, you will engage to one extent or another with other individuals as well. Because even when you break bondage, you engage with others. Yeah? Even if you don't engage in 3D directly to meet them or to talk to them, you engage in the decisions you make. Even if you make a claim of justice or punishment, you still, that's called engagement with them. That's called, even if you don't engage directly, you engage through the divine realm and you still engage. Now, in everything you do, you can always do things differently, and in everything you do, you can contribute to their soul evolution in one way or another. Even indirectly, not necessarily in direct fashion, if they are individuals who are not interested in your help, or even worse, they work against you. And let me tell you before I close up, that most of the times, those people that you're supposed to help, they've been programmed to work against you. This is what the Matrix does. They created, for example, out of separation by death. If you come together with a person with whom you're supposed to achieve a certain goal in 3D, they already made a curse with separation by death. If you come together, one of you will die. Yeah, that's the bondage that one of you or both of you need to break. So if it's not a separation by death, they are programmed to work against you, and to program you, and to harm you, and to do a lot of harm to you, and so on. Yeah. I think we all struggle with this, everybody who's doing spiritual fighting. But I want to emphasize that you have the ability and you have the possibility that you contribute to soul evolution of others through your own work. And ideally, if you can actually help them, guide them towards soul evolution, that is even better. You can do that in many ways, but including the manner in which you do the bondage breaking and your self-healing, that can be done in ways in which contributes to soul evolution of others. Yeah? Even, for example, casting a poltergeist spirit which is attached on you. That, if you do that by cutting off the poltergeist spirit and healing whatever the trauma bonding was created for that spirit to fall into poltergeist status and to be binded, then you must understand that if you do that, you contribute to a soul evolution of that individual. Yeah. So that's another way. I just gave you one example. Yeah, I'm stopping here because it's 28 minutes and I want to make sure I can upload it fast. If you have questions, as always, you can call me, you can write messages, and I will answer. The purpose, it's more diverse. It's not just that. This is just one example. Yeah. There are many ways in which you have different purposes related to different other topics. Yeah. I will see if God wants me to talk about anything else, but for now I just spoke about this because I only had few minutes to prepare. Yeah. Okay.